welcome back to the SBP Podcast Mobile Filmmaking. Guess who I am? I'm your host, Susy Botello, and you're listening to episode 208.
We are Fade into Film.
Hey everybody, we are back in Fade into Film, and guess who's with us but the most wonderful, the liveliest, and most awesomest, Joey Min.
Hey,
Yay!
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, Joey!
Hey.
We're finally recording. It's been a crazy week, Joey, for the whole world. I mean, not just us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a crazy moon out tonight. We are recording this, by the way, on Saturday night. But, you know, I looked out and I saw a billion stars and a beautiful full moon tonight. And I just thought, wow, that's just like a movie. But you know what? Joey, I know you're in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing when you look outside up at the sky?
According to news, that there are like SUV-sized drones out there, but I kind of live off of
Wait, SUV size?
Yeah, they're supposed to be very, very big, or at least car-sized drones, right? Mm-hmm. And it's been going on this week, but like I think like a month back or something, I know there was something in New York with like low-flying helicopters, or so same thing, but
right?
Because like I've been hearing for the week, haven't seen anything. And I kind of live off kind of in a more rural area of Jersey, and I didn't see them. But like apparently, as of 30 minutes ago, from where we're recording this, I'm just reading news on it. Apparently, the White House actually responded. I guess it's
the White House spoke.
Yes, apparently. First off, they didn't know anything, but now it's supposed to be they are. Right. It's what's it? Military like drone pads. They're testing something because it's apparently it's flying over near military areas around here. So apparently it's bothering the New York like airports too. Apparently that was what's posted.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is kind of a little bit crazy, you know, just because. I mean, how many are there supposed to be? Because I mean, I don't know. I've heard stuff here and there. I've been really busy this whole week, but I mean, this has been going on this whole week, like literally, right? When did it start?
Yeah, like earlier this week, I believe. So
yeah,
like 3 days ago. Because I've been outside, I was looking and I haven't seen it. But then again, it's been like raining really hard. So.
And they're still out there while it's raining too, huh?
Yeah, maybe testing it out. See that shit works.
Wow.
Who knows?
So you haven't seen a drone?
No, I haven't seen the drones that's on the news. But yeah, because I don't think you need a pilot's license here in Jersey to fly a drone. Like I know they pass out.
Yeah, you do here too.
Because we used to have a drone, and after all that, I didn't.
Wait. I think it depends on where you fly it.
Yeah, it depends.
You need a license.
Yeah, it depends where. Which is also kind of funny too. Like since there's a lot of farmlands, I guess, like in our area, like you think you'd be able to fly them over, but like your drone, if it's connected to the internet, will tell you like, hey, this area really you shouldn't be able to fly. It's like a no-fly zone kind of thing.
Somebody called it a UFO, the drone. There was some publication somewhere that called it UFO, unidentified flying objects. All right. So I wanted to talk about two things today with Joey, because I think both you and I probably have some good tips and some good ideas and some good experiences with this stuff that we can share with people, maybe help them out a little bit. One of them is, well, it's the main topic of the day is, are you going on a film set? Is it your first time on a set? Because we're going to share some on-set rules with everyone. And I will also share with you one other thing, because I think this might play into this, but I've also seen a little bit of confusion online about this. And I know this happens, so I thought, Joey and I could talk about this a little bit. Joey, do you know the difference? I know you do. I'm just asking. It's rhetorical, okay? Do you know the difference between a grip versus a gaffer on set, on films?
I do, but also it depends on which like the level of production on what they do.
Exactly. And also, most of the time, if you're filming outdoors, they're not around. It's not really necessary because most of the time it has to do with lights, but we do have reflectors outside. So, Now, on mobile filmmaking, because of the phones and all that stuff, I don't know about you, Joey, but have you ever been on a film set where you're filming in this one section in a living room or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to shift the entire set, right, over to another section of the same location, like the dining room or something, right? And because of all the lights and all the gear, the camera equipment, if there's a dolly or whatever it is, it's a big maneuver. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with mobile filmmaking, that's a lot easier. You know what I mean? It's like, well, let's just shift to here. And when it comes to lighting, I don't think it's really that necessary. What do you think? To have a grip or a gaffer? I mean,
I thought you were about to say like you don't need lighting. Like,
oh no,
because it really depends too, right? I think that if we were to just actually I didn't research anything on it, but I heard that 28 years later is filmed all on a phone, right? On an iPhone.
Yes. $75 million, wasn't it?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, no. 28 years later was all filmed on actually more than one iPhone. And it's coming out in the summer.
Wow. Dude, I mean, so I'm saying I'm sure you still need a lot of lights, but I'm sure, what you're saying is that because of your one piece of equipment, it's a lot easier to move around. And yeah, definitely. I think, you could put the phone in really awkward places to make new shots that, probably wouldn't be on conventional cameras.
Right. And, that's the other thing grips kind of do is sometimes help out with grips. Getting a grip on the camera. Mm-hmm. They kind of help out the camera people. Depending on where the camera is, if it needs an extra hand. Maybe we should just kind of share with our listeners the difference between the two, because the gaffer is more the person that has the plan. They're in charge of, all the lighting and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're more the visionaries of, they work directly with the DP and the director.
Yeah.
And the grip is, if you think about the grip, they are the action people. They're the ones that put the gloves on, and they're actually working and turning that plan into a reality.
Yeah, because if it's, if you put it together, right? Like, I think, to make it simple, grips are more utility, and gaffers are more electricity. You know what I mean?
Well, they're in charge of the whole thing as far as kind of the electric,
a gaffer would be like
the
head electrician. I don't think it's just the lights, though.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So yeah, they're like, I guess
it's just like it's always the question is like, what the heck is the difference between the two? And then some people say it's the same person, and look, everything is no, and also, well, in this case, yes, right?
The less money you have, everyone is the same person.
Exactly, right? And I can tell you right now that if you were working on a feature film shot with a smartphone, right? And you still have, the bare essentials. Most of the time, independent filmmaking is a little bit of a skeleton crew, unless you have a lot of people that are just like, no, man, we're all helping you. Don't worry about the budget. You know what I'm saying? But there's some things you're stuck with paying for when you have more people. There's no way around it, right? So I don't know. I think like when you're making a movie with a phone, there are a lot of things like that, that happen where the person who's the grip is also the gaffer. There is no AD, or the AD is pulling other things, just all kinds of things like that. I can't see outside of the lights where a grip would come in handy on a mobile filmmaking thing, other than just handling some serious equipment other than lights.
Who knows? What if they're like, I
know I'm trying to okay, we have a budget. Let's be careful, but do we really need a grip and a gaffer? It's tough.
Hire a lights guy and he's his own gaffer.
Really?
You have you hire a grip and he literally is like the muscle for everything. That's what I would think, right?
I think now you guys understand the difference between the two, right? What these guys do. So now you can go to your holiday parties and play the trivia games.
I guess, yeah. That would be it, right?
Grandma, let me help you set the table. I'm the grip.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let me move the table. There you go.
Okay, guys. All right. So let's talk now, because I think this will come in handy if one of us mentions the grip or the gaffer. Okay, now you guys will know what we're talking about. How's that? On-set rules. Are you ready? Joey, the first thing.
Get out of the fucking doorway.
It would be wise to work on an indie film set with a decent crew and budget. That's the first thing I recommend. It would be the best experience.
Wait, I thought we're talking about on-set rules, right?
Well, yes, we are. And that's why I'm saying, the very first thing everybody should do is to work on an indie film set. Don't just okay. Look for a decent budget indie set. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, Joey. Mm-hmm. So on indie film sets, you have more freedom to actually get hands-on experience than you do on any other set. Budget, but also because when you're working with unions, on larger budget films and things like that, you can't just sort of go, oh, let me go touch this over here and help this person here in lighting, and then go help this person over here in audio, and then go help this person out with the coffee. Everybody's got their own individual departments, and you can't really, meddle, I suppose, in them. You get scolded on set. Mm-hmm. So that's my advice. Just go. Just volunteer. If you find out anything, if you happen to be at, I was going to name the brand, but let's just say you happen to be at a coffee shop, right? And you overhear a group of people and they're going to make a movie. Just don't be shy. Just go over there and say, hey, you guys, can you use some help on set? I'd just like to see how that works. I'm thinking about, working on films, Mm-hmm. So, my experience, and the reason why I said that before is because if you go on a film set for the first time and you've never been on a film set and you're there to actually help, it's a little bit overwhelming, right? Depending on the size, of course, but there's a lot going on, right? As soon as people get on set, they're doing stuff right off the bat. They're not standing around going, so what's going on? So what are we doing first? None of that is happening, right, Joey? Mm-hmm. So for me, I had experience with video production. I had an experience in school with, broadcast, filmmaking, video, all the gear, all the stuff, all the equipment and all these things. And then I've also I grew up around equipment because my parents were performers, grew up around stages with audio equipment and microphones and, hanging out where the guys, where they work the lights, the grids, and all that stuff on stages. But if you've never been on a film set, Joey is going to share
my rule that I've built up throughout the years and stuff.
Yes.
Get out.
So, and first thing, you know what? The first rule that you brought up, that was mine here too. I wrote a note on mine because I wanted to make sure I don't forget it.
And I think that
never stand around. Never.
Oh, well, mine is specifically this is from super low indie all the way to high Hollywood production.
Yeah.
Don't get out of the fucking doorway. Just don't stand there. don't just fucking be there and watch. Like, why the door of all places? That's like, it's a choke point, right? And
Yes.
obviously, when you the higher you go up in production, there's a lot more things moving around, right? And then that's like a critical point in any set. So you need to not be there.
Yeah.
So that's what.
But also, if you're standing in the doorway, like, why are you just standing in the doorway? And I know what's happening. People are saying hi and talking to each other and all that stuff. But that's kind of like...
So it's a thing that I've heard before. If you got time for leaning, you got time for cleaning, or something.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Really? I like that.
I've heard
I don't know about cleaning.
I heard a head grip say that before. You know, like, okay, that sounds.
But never stand around doing nothing or looking around and things like that. And that's why I'm saying it's good to familiarize yourself with what's on set, Joey, because that way you're not just like, you know, just in total shock and awe. I mean, it's pretty cool. You start to look at things. You're like, oh my God, right? The DP breaks out the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids go like Santa Claus pulling presents out of a bag.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, that works.
So what are some other things that I would also say, since we were talking about grips and gaffers and things like that, if you're going anywhere around lights, wear gloves, please. Don't burn yourselves or electrocute yourselves.
Yeah, that would be, because, like, yeah, I think, oh man, I don't know.
There's a lot of stuff, but let's start with day one, right? You were just asked if you'd like to work on this film.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So what is the next thing that you and I would do? We would sign a contract, you know, that says, I've just entered and here I am, and I've, you know, it's most likely work for hire contract, right?
Yeah.
And so read it. I'm just gonna say it. I know I sound like a dork here, but read the contract, okay? Make sure you understand what you're supposed to do and all that stuff. And then you go to a meeting and you meet people, depending on what part crew you pay. But day one, Joey, what do you do on day one? So you arrive. How early or how late? Is it okay to be there just right on time, or should you get there a little earlier?
I mean, earlier. It really, because, like, this is gonna sound douchey, right?
Go for it.
But I don't remember what it's like being under the line.
Under what?
Like, I don't remember anymore what it's like being under the line.
Under the line?
Below the line.
Oh, because you're like all up above.
I know. It's a douchey thing to say. Yes, I understand what
it's
I'm
like
saying.
He's like the ivory tower man. I will never forget what it's being under the line.
Because it's okay.
Like,
But I guess what I mean to say is that, like, you know, because it's been, I try to actually leave the whole Hollywood thing like decade ago, right? And
yeah,
and I wanted to do just my own thing, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm back into it from time to time, whatever. But the thing is, it's like, you know, I think I have much more experience in doing like indie stuff where there is no line, right? Because being indie, and, you know, when you start out, you kind of have to you wear all the hats, right? Until you start building a team and you have a budget and you can start hiring people. But most of the time, you know, it's not like I'm not doing, you know, a Disney movie or something. I have like $500 million to just throw around and like, you know, just be a director or anything like that. So
do you know how many people I know that, you know, still think it's funny that they get a check every month for like a penny or two as far as royalties because they were above the line on some film back in the 80s or something, or 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're getting a paper check. Costs with the check, right? It costs more to print it.
Which is funny. Yeah. I think I've been paid for like a project that like for something, and I still kind of got it recently. It was like 6 cents, and I'm like, okay. That was like a movie back in like 2000 or something. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's more. That's why the rules that I have, it's kind of going back into it now and seeing how things have changed. I suppose. And how the things that I used to do before really isn't the same now in terms of like, being a crew member simply because of one technological, like, I wouldn't say the technological advancement in that helps the workflow of things.
Yeah,
And
I see what you mean.
so it's kind of weird. Like that's what it is.
There's one of the things that, when we go on film sets, one of the things that we do when we're there the very first time, right? I mean, it kind of feels like a dream, right? Like a dream shot, right? Like, oh, I get to actually finally be here. Because, if you've ever, I live in California, right? But where you live, I'm sure when you were a kid, oh yeah, I know you were a teenager when there was a film being shot in your neighborhood or something like that, right? And for most of, even though your situation is a little different, but most of the time, you're told stand out of the way, right?
Yes.
And
yeah.
you don't come close here. No one talks to you. You're just standing there behind a specific spot and all that stuff. But if you get to put your foot on set, basically, that's kind of a big deal the first time you get to do that, because you feel like, if you've ever done what I just said earlier, it's like, oh, I get to cross that line and go in with them where they're working, And I guess that's why you're just kind of standing around, because you're just like standing in the middle of an amusement park and you've never been there before. You're just looking at everything, and everything is moving, everything. I always told people, when you first get on set, look for the C stands. And there's always, I don't know, it depends on how many, the job, but there's always definitely at least a few of those that you can help with, right? In setting those things up.
Yeah, I would assume, though, if you're part of a production, that exactly what you were being hired for, right? So you kind of have...
Well, unless you're a PA or something like that. Because, most of the time, if you've never been on the set before, then you've never been on a set before. You have no experience, really.
Yeah,
right?
But why would you be on the set if you weren't asked to be there?
Because you want to be... Well,
I don't know if that's works.
For me, people would beg me to come on set.
And then you would what would you tell them? Like, hey, can I, or please be part of my set. So I need you to do something, right? Wouldn't you say that?
I would say if you want to come on set, right, you can volunteer as a PA or as a production assistant. And they're like super happy to do that. That's an actual official title. I think the lowest one other than that, I don't want to say lowest, but I would say the one that comes down the line after that would be like the interns, right? If there are interns. But then you make the interns do whatever it is that you need them to do. They're like they even have their own leaders sometimes. So
yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true.
Yeah. Last film I worked on, they had their own leader.
Kind of have to, yeah. You got to manage the intern somehow.
Yeah, you have that. You have other things. So, okay. So what are some other things because we're talking about a lot of things. Have we mentioned things you should do on a set?
Pay attention. Definitely pay attention. Like, look around you, right? Like before that's the thing too. I think it depends. It doesn't depend. Like, I think for any production, look around you before you move, right? Because I've seen people, even like stunt
you
people.
Turn around and you start walking and there's
like, there's like a random light there. Then boom, like not a random light. It was just there because it's always been there, and you run into it, and then there we go. That's like a couple $1,000. Good job. And this person never gets a job ever again, Yeah. I've seen that happen way too much, right? Look around you, look below you. That's the thing too. Depending where you are too, sometimes you'll trip over shit that you would not see. Like, oh, that wire like blends in, but it's actually way thicker than what you think it is. And and some people don't pick up their feet when they walk, and they just trip and they fall, dragging other things along with them, And there's always people moving around. Yeah, that's one thing. Look around before you move, right?
The thing about that too is if you're outside at night, you know what I'm saying, with those big lights and things when they're on, they can kind of blind you.
Yeah. Because I think what I really mean is just be attentive. If you're there, like if someone is there, and I don't think it matters what type of set. Like you could be, small, no budget, indie, whatever, all the way to like look around and pay attention, right? Before you act, I think. Yeah. Right. And, and what's another one? Like, it's okay. Everyone hates the PA. So that's one too. Everyone hates the PA.
Aw. No, they don't.
Guys, that's a hard out. It's a hard out. Like, oh my God. In my head, it's like, shut. Okay. Like, okay.
There is no way to hate any member of your crew.
Yeah, there shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but someone has to be an asshole on the set to get things right. And I completely understand. And I respect them for that. But like,
yeah,
okay.
So here's the other thing. I think one of the most annoying people on set is that one person that's trying to network with everybody that's above the line.
Yeah, but
while things are happening, like literally.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Like while I understand, it's also kind of because sometimes people don't realize how much stress it is for a lot of like department heads. Like, it might not seem like it sometimes. Well, at least for me, I know I stress the fuck out, right?
Oh, of course.
Right. So I would assume that other people would stress the fuck out. And then it's like, hey, I understand we can network later, And I think, I do have, actually, I did make a video about being a filmmaker. Just I don't know if it's set rules, but like in the end, like, hey, pay attention and be nice. Like, just be nice. Like, I think that's, you want to stand out, you want to network, you want to be different from everybody else in like the film industry. Be fucking nice. Like say thank you and say please. Like literally, and people will remember you and people will hire you over again. Because you're not
anticipate a little bit without overdoing it, because you don't want to screw something up, but anticipate a need for you. Like, make yourself, like, in other words, you're there. Of course, you're networking and all that stuff. I mean, you do want to go and get a good feel for what's going on, but, pay attention. Oh, it looks like those guys hey, approach them. Do you guys need a little hand with this? I can help. Doing things like that is part of being nice, and people will remember you. That got done because,
well, I mean,
you walked in there and helped.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to know that if you didn't pay attention too, right? So
exactly.
So yeah, pay attention.
So, there's also a sense of urgency.
Yeah. Now we're going down. Yeah, we're definitely going down the line there. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but ultimately, if you pay attention, everything else should flow into place. Pay attention. Think before you act. Be nice. And get out of the fucking doorway, please. Everybody.
I'd love to be on a film set with you, Joey. God, dude. I'll be the first one to stand in the doorway and go, no one's coming through here.
Right?
I'm just kidding.
Get out of my set. Get out.
Hi, here's your name tag.
Right. I definitely, I also know certain people, either they find it funny, but then when it's stressful, I don't really do this thing. But I employ kitchen, like restaurant kitchen rules on my stuff.
Yeah.
So just to be, I don't know, we're like, my crew is weird too. Like I do the whole, like, I make everybody go like, say, yes, chef, Hirsch.
Yes, Chef Joey.
Yeah. No names. That's weird. But I think it's funny, right? And like other things too. I know the first time, definitely, when I was like, first time I was doing like second unit director or whatnot. And I think because of Hollywood, they call it like, next shot's martini, right? And people don't know that it's called a martini shot because it's the last shot of the day. So you go home and get a martini, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's and there's like a lot of old terms, antiquated terms, I think, right? That doesn't really work. Like, oh yeah, that's like a cowboy shot. Like, I understand that, but now like you have kids going into like, the film industry that probably have never seen like a cowboy film, so they won't understand what a cowboy shot is, right? So stuff like, and that's you. If for it's well, how would I would describe it? It is an if we're talking about over the shoulder, it's a close up over the butt perspective. It's usually because of like the gun.
Yeah, because of gun
Yeah,
holsters.
And we know that, right? Like we're older, but so now
What?
Yeah, because that's dude, the cowboy
What?
movies. There's
I'm just
no one
kidding.
says fucking. I don't think I hear. I mean, I just say over the butt, and then instantly, like the younger people understand it, like on set, like, oh, okay,
Right.
that makes sense. Like and like something clicks in their head, like, oh yeah, okay, right, or whatever, right?
And I'm with you there, because what really matters in the end is that stuff happens and that stuff gets done and that everything comes out and that everybody is like high-fiving at the end and not just kind of feeling like, oh, I didn't know what that term was and I just got
right, and
yelled at.
And it's that's the thing too. Like obviously, it is its own ecosystem, and you get to learn it. And as old people leave, new people come in, and they still learn like old habits, and some like change it, right? So so that's the thing too, right? I think film industry and film set etiquette definitely has been evolving throughout the many generation of filmmakers that come in and out. And I think that's amazing seeing, what people, younger generations do. I think that's always awesome to see.
And it's going to continue to evolve also because of, you and I and Levi, Ryan, everybody, we were talking about marketing, right? For your films and stuff like that. And, BTS, what you can share on social media, what you can't. When you're going on a film, working on a film nowadays, it's not like it was, 100 years ago, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I mean to say is like social media is part of everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're very serious about that. Where before it wasn't even mentioned because it was like, who's going to post something on social media? You know what I'm saying? But now the rules have chillaxed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And so now we have to be careful and make sure that we tell people, no, this can't go on social media, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's like for certain film sets I've heard about, like, they would hire a social media, that's their job. Like they're the ones
right.
So it's kind of like
and
another.
They still do.
Yeah, like, but it's kind of like another set of, like, how do I say it? It's like another job on top of like the person capturing dailies, but this one is specifically not just for the producers. Now it's for the public consumption, right?
Right. And it has a direct purpose, and that actually makes it so that the director, the producers or whatever really don't want the crew to be promoting the film as much on social media because they don't want it to overlap what they're doing on their end that they're paying for. You know what I'm saying? So like if you go on set, right, and you're there and you're just taking a bunch of selfies and things like that, that's also probably not the coolest thing to do. What do you think, Joey?
Oh, dude, I remember one of these things before. I did this. I was hired to be obviously action coordinator for this. You remember Oprah's like channel, like what was it, Oxygen or something like that?
Oh yeah.
And I got hired.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got hired to do before a long time ago. For like a production for something like that. I'm not even sure if it like Open Channel, but whatever. It's like it was like a movie or something like that. And like somebody invited these fucking people on set they're not part of the crew. I don't know, right? And we were doing this stunt. Actually, I had this on my Instagram a long time ago. Like I was coordinating this stunt where the stunt guy had to get hit by a car, roll over the car and whatever, right? But the thing is of how it was, it's like, hey, we're I needed the audio of what happens, right? So we did the stunt, and I was the one that's driving the car too. So, so the stunt guy, like, yeah, I trust you. I'm like, yeah, of course, trust me. I got you, right? Not gonna hurt you, right? So, I drove the car, I hit the guy, right? And the moment I hit this guy, right, all I hear is somebody like go like, oh my God. Like they were just like loud, right? They're like, oh my God, that's crazy, right? On set, right?
Oh.
And then my eyes dart around and I see this person, and this person is like either recording themselves or like, I think they were like live streaming themselves on Facebook a long time ago, right? And
Oh.
I went, I flipped out.
Yeah.
Like, I just whatever. I flipped out. I have this audio like I got from like the audio chick that was doing it, and like I was like, get this fucking person on my fucking set, and I was like screaming. I was fucking, what did I say? Like.
It's like when someone is sitting right next to you in the car and all of a sudden they react to something while you're trying to maneuver something and they're like, blah, 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 and you're like, your heart skipped, like you almost have a heart attack.
But it wasn't that. It was like, hey, like, it was kind of like a last, it was kind of.
But did you not feel scared for a split second? Like, did I kill somebody? What happened?
Yeah, that was the thing too, right? Like I knew what I was doing, right? But obviously there's that moment that I know it's like, hey, we need the shot, right? But even so, like I know it sounds also kind of mean, but sometimes like some of those things, you just do it, and then like, and once it cuts, I go directly to the guy, like, hey, okay, or make sure or something like that, right? Because like at least if this person did get hurt, then it's there. Like we could use that, if it, they're, for the shot, right? But then somebody was already messing up the shot before, like the stunt guy was like perfectly fine, right? Yeah. But this person already messed up the shot, and I don't want to make this guy fucking do this stunt again, right? You know what I mean? Like, because the person just want to make a clown of themselves on their social media. Hey, dude, like somebody's putting their life on the line here, like. And I already told everybody, hey, we need like clean audio for this shit, right?
So they were basically live streaming, and they decided to kind of play a joke, like, oh, somebody just got killed.
I don't. They were not part of the set.
They just happened to see it, and
no, it was like one of the producers or something like that. They just brought him on. They don't know what is happening on that fucking day. Right, and it was producers' friends. It wasn't the producer's friends. And then I flipped the fuck out. Yeah, like, and I have that somewhere on my Instagram, and I'm like, I
just can't even imagine that. You guys here, you listen to Joey. He's like the coolest guy. Do you imagine him flipping out on you like that?
Because I was mad for the stunt guy. Like it's not like people don't already realize how much stunts are a big part of Hollywood's like history, right? Even now, like stunts, like sure.
They were all. I mean, the actors for all those films,
dude. Yeah, the first Hollywood stuntmen were all cowboys, all like all those guys, right? Rough and tumble dudes, right? And like they were the first grips. They were the first, all that.
Well, remember those old movies with the train robbers and not the Western ones, but the ones after that. Well, I guess they were very close to around the same time, anyways. But
no, even just the very beginning, right? So that's why now when people are realizing, you're seeing like there's a lot of action films that there's still not a lot of recognition for the stunt industry, and even though stunts and action is the cornerstone of blockbuster cinema, right? Like that's really kind of where it started, all those action films and stuff like that, right?
And I think a lot of people just assume everything is CGI or made up or something, and they just
sure. I mean, it could be possibly now, but even back then, people think people don't really think that stuntmen or at least like productions would think of stuntmen or use stuntmen as like glorified extras or something. Like there would be no better than extras. Like extras sometimes I remember when I was working back then, like extras would be treated better than stuntmen, and that's weird, right? So
that is weird.
So, but that's the thing, right? So that kind of threw me off the edge simply because of like I understand what it was like being a stunt person, and I also it's not easy putting your using your body and putting it through pain and stuff like that for entertainment and whatnot. And this person's just going to be like capitalizing off of it, and they're messing up the shot.
You brought up something I didn't even think about, which is obviously we should probably talk about maybe the differences in genres and how if you are going to go for the first time on a film set.
But it still applies. Like, hey, pay attention and think before you act, right? Like,
well, like, okay, like there's look at all the different genres and all the different situations that they could be in. And, I would do a little bit of research. This film is about this.
Well, that's why certain productions were always doomed to fail. And working professionally, people would know. Like it's a common occurrence that, there are a lot of projects you can get hired for, like, something small or even something big that never gets done simply because that production was doomed to fail. Because there's something usually with the people that are trying to make it happen are just not capable of making it happen, right? It's a lot of moving parts, right? The more money it is, the more people there is. And you hire the wrong person, and then the whole system tumbles over. That's just truth, even for small things, right?
I don't think anybody expects to sabotage your film, pretty much, but
no,
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. It's not like I'm not, and I don't even mean like in a malicious way. Like some people are just not capable, or they don't they didn't get to understand the responsibilities that they might be having for a project like they're doing. And they just don't handle it. I think recently there was a project that I think I was supposed to be a part of as a, the action second unit or whatever. But this director apparently hired someone else because they said, hey, there's this, someone he was talking to was, hey, this guy is like a veteran. He's been in it for like 30 plus years. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. Then, hopefully that's good. And then I hear from, their main actors and whatnot, like, hey, this guy is it's just some dude that runs a martial arts school. And they were saying like, oh, he's been knowing it for like 30 years and he doesn't know anything about filming or making like a movie or doing action. And he just was just a very good talker that talked to the director and somehow got into like a B-level film that has like a pretty good budget.
So he hustled right?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure he got let go of that. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know that, termination fees or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But regardless, there's a lot of projects out there that are hanging on by a thread, right? And that's why I think it's amazing when people actually get to, like, somebody never made a film before, to actually finish a film. I think so much respect,
Oh, it's so
no matter,
it's such a big deal.
Yeah, no matter what level. I don't care if it's just you and a friend making a movie and you make a movie. Like, I think that's amazing. Like, I want that for everybody, But then
me too.
Right?
I'm a team with you on that one. I mean, I really want everybody to have the experience.
Yeah, because like, it's not like, how do I explain this? It's not it takes so much out of a person to make a film, to take a story that's not real in your head and make it and come to life. So it doesn't matter if it's small or big. I think I respect anybody that takes the chance to tell their story, no matter how long or no matter how short. I think that's amazing,
It is the most awesome thing. You guys, so the way I see it, it's like this. It's like you have moving components. It's like you have all these moving components to make this thing happen, right? From your vision of a story, that whether you made it up or not, whatever, your vision. And when it's done, it was your film. And all these people and all these things that have to come. I mean, I'm talking from sunsets to sunrise to when it rains, when you have to shoot indoors and the lights go out. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And still, you're looking at the end of, the dates that you had planned. And you've got 20 minutes left and the sun's setting and you got to get that last shot and it happens. I'm telling you, it's the best drug in the world. That feeling of, oh my God, we did it together. We encountered challenges and roadblocks and we still went through it. And some of the things turned out better than we thought they would. And oh my God, and we thought maybe we couldn't pull this off while we were in the middle of it and we still did it. It's just so magical.
Right. And all of that starts with you just paying attention and thinking before you act.
Get out of the doorway and pay attention.
Yeah. And be nice. Be
Yes.
fucking nice.
And dress for the part. Meaning, I know you're there dress working, networking, but don't, please, guys. I've been on film sets where people look like they just sort of rolled off the bed after being in it for 7 days. And that's fine.
Susie,
we're proud of that.
I'm telling you now that there are, and I don't mean this is not an attack or anything negative in any way. I've been on sets now with like a lot of like Gen Zers are in. Dude, they dress completely different from how we are. And that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay? You could look however the fuck you want to. Just do your job.
Just remember though, and that's the thing. Like if you wear high heels on a film set as a PA, you're not going to survive. You're going to fall.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? Also, invest in some good shoes, guys. Protect your feet.
Yes.
You will appreciate that advice as you get older. I'm telling you, you're saving your 40-year-old years. I'm telling you, please start wearing shoes that are good for you.
Yeah, but dress to be comfortable so that you can help out in different things. And I don't know what kind of movies you may be working on, but sometimes, I mean, where I was working, there was a blizzard going on. You know what I'm saying? There's like trucks driving by, there's mud, it rained a few times. I mean, it was just crazy. And so, you know, it's like, it's okay though. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. You're building your legacy. You took part on something really awesome that's going to last forever. What else did we miss, Joey?
I don't know. I mean, I'm willing for anyone, any brand new people. I feel like if as long as you're a nice person on set, I think I could overlook a lot of the dumb stuff. You know,
I think for most of us, we can too. And we've, for the most part, like we understand. It's exciting. We're excited too when we're on set. I think the above the line people just kind of hide it a little bit better because they got so much stress, so many things, so many details. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But everybody is excited about, being on a set, getting to work on a movie, and everybody wants to see it get done. And you can be a part of it. Just don't be afraid to ask people to go on set.
Right. I guess. There's a lot of there's a lot of legal ramifications now. You just can't.
I know, but if you can't, well, like I said earlier, as long as you've signed a contract, you know what you're getting into, and you follow these rules, stay out of the way, help when you can. I mean, you got to understand, like what I said before too, Joey. If someone says, "Okay, yeah, you could be on set," trust them, Yeah. Trust them that they like you and they think you're cool enough to be on set with them. So don't blow your chance.
Yeah. But in the end, you know what I'm going to say? Okay, honestly, for anybody that really wants to get into like the film industry, don't go into finance.
Don't what?
Don't go into film industry. Go into finance. Like I love this, but at the same time, I also hate this.
No, you don't.
I love it and I hate it at the same time. It is the biggest. Like it's it feeds the soul more than anything, but it also hurts the soul more than anything.
Yeah. It's like I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility, but we've only got one life to live.
It is the passion, I suppose, right?
Exactly.
And and it's not like, and I don't want people to think like I work, not that consistent. I'm not always in like the professional scene, right? Like,
right.
And so because like I'm really trying to build up my own like career, I guess, as a director, and my learning how to write my own, and then making my own stuff and producing it. So I'm not there all the time, but I know people are stressed out that is their like 9 to 5, I guess, or sorry, not even 9 to 5. What I'm talking about, they're there for like 16 hours a day sometimes. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
So I get it, right? It's I think people want to be in it because they really want to be in it, right? For whatever reasons that may have.
And again, this is not for everybody. So it's the best thing to do is to just go check it out. Just go try it out. I mean, I know I'm making it sound like, oh, just go watch that movie or something. But it really is a matter of if you want to make a film, right? If you want to get into the industry, like the guy that you were talking about earlier who talked his way into one, but he didn't have any experience. How cool would it have been if he had just come into some film sets without talking himself up, gain a little bit of enough experience, and then being able to learn something so he wouldn't have blown it.
Right. But that's the thing too, right? Sometimes you talk enough a good game and you you get asked to be on set and you have no clue what you're doing, and people are expecting you to know what you're doing because you said you know what you're doing and you have experience, right? And then especially in a position where you could seriously get somebody hurt, I think that's a problem, right? So, but obviously, it's not like I said, depending on the level of production. I was talking about like a B-level film, so there are some rules, or not even rules, but maybe like a lot of things that are not being done by the book, obviously, right? Because people are trying to save money, right? So
yeah, look, guys. So all right, so we all know filmmakers who just go out one day and they have an idea for a movie and they just go out and shoot it. No big deal. You know what I'm saying? And it comes out great. But we're not trying to tell you like, oh yeah, just go out and make a movie. If we were going to do that, then there'd be no need for this conversation. But what we're trying to do is help you so that you have a chance to make this something that you do, that you actually do. It's not like, well, I'm going to go out and do this one time, right? But this isn't for everybody. And wouldn't it be great if you found a production and you ask, hey, can I be on set? I don't have any experience, but I'd love to be on set and find out if this is the thing for me, because I've always had a feeling it could be, and I'm attracted to it. And don't be afraid to approach people to do it if this is something you want to do. And I think that if you do that, you'll learn something from it. And you may also end up meeting people there who are going to help you make your film or be a part of your crew. You may find your next director there for a movie that you want to film and you don't know about directing. There's so much opportunity on a film set. Even some of the people that are looking around, like maybe you were, people, you know what I'm saying? Like in the background.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I guess that kind of is pretty much, I mean, I think that we brought you some basics enough so that you get an idea of what to do, what not to do, and don't get yourself in trouble. Just follow our little tips. Right, Joey?
Yeah, I suppose, yes.
Well, I guess I would like to say to everybody, happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. What do you say, Joey? Say goodbye to our listeners.
All right. See you guys.